Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today, it has been a week since the Commander Rules Committee banned Jeweled Lotus, Dockside Extortionist, and Mana Crypt. And I'm still angry about it. Though many people are happy about the ban, even going so far as to trash talk and claim that if you needed those cards to build your deck, you suck at deck building. And while I may not be the best deck builder in the world, I do have some pretty good brews that have been known to cause my opponents to yell at me. And I'm not talking about table stomping. I'm talking about sitting at a table with 3 other very good, very strong decks, getting recognized as the archenemy, and still winning. Today we'll be discussing that deck. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Now, while my Kaalia deck was running all 3 of the banned cards, Nadu deserves to be banned and pretty much everyone agrees it made for boring games, Kaalia is not my strongest deck. She's certainly strong, but my strongest deck is my Kess deck. Let me set the scene. I'm playing Kess, my wife is playing Miram, someone else is playing a very strong Satoru Umezawa deck, and a ruthless Athreos God of Passage deck is also in the pod. Everyone is scared of Miram, of course, and I'm just sitting back, casting some mana rocks, minding my own business, when suddenly my wife counters my Thousand Year Storm, and people start to see exactly what I have on board. I can make about 7 mana between lands and rocks, but I also have an Archmage Emeritus and a Stormkiln Artist on board. Suddenly, Miram is no longer the scary person at the table. I am. For the next 2 turns I have to fend off board wipes, spot removal, exile effects, you name it. Finally, I find the other card I was looking for, a second copy effect. I cast Opt, then copy the Opt, then copy the copy of the Opt, and loop that combo about 70 times. I make 70 treasures, draw 70 cards, then cast Expansion Explosion and copy it, killing the table. Plays like this are why Spellslinger is so feared. Even when you're facing down against 3 other players all gunning for you, if you're careful and patient, you can pull out a win. Now, like I said before, the bans don't affect my Kess deck in the slightest, and it is my strongest deck. So to help you get started on the road to Spellslinger, I present you this deck, a $100 budget version of my deck. Obviously, we won't be running any of the super salty cards in Commander like Jessica's Will, Tutors, Underworld Breach, or even Mizzix's Mastery. We also won't be running Chain of Smog, which makes either Ral Storm Conduit or Professor Onyx a 2-card infinite combo, winning us the game. I don't have a problem with infinite combos, but for this deck specifically, I wanted them to take at least 3 cards. So let's take a look at our commander. Kess Dissident Mage is a 4-mana 3/4 legendary human wizard with flying. During each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Gamble is a magic card that gets avoided a lot, because you know that with your luck, the card you tutor for will be the one you randomly discard. But that doesn't matter with Kess. Also, Kess allows me to insult twice in the same turn. And yes, if you're wondering, that stacks, so all damage is now ×4. Add Thousand Year Storm and this gets out of control. My record so far is 9 instances of insult, so all damage is 2 to the 9th, or ×512. So Lightning Bolt dealt 1,536 damage. But as I said, this version of the deck has no tutors, so we'll have to win the old-fashioned way. Also, before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. For the past few years, Ultimate Guard has been hard at work finding ways to protect your cards without damaging the planet, and they have discovered it. Boulders, once made entirely of plastic, are now made of 87% renewable resources. They also come in a variety of sizes and colors, including this new brown 133 card box. If you're like me, you have a ton of decks, want a little bit of space for your tokens in your deck boxes, and don't want those boxes filling up an entire suitcase, then this box is the perfect solution. Find out if your local game store carries the new Return to Earth boulders from Ultimate Guard, or click on the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm going to be streaming on Musings by Danon as well as Twitch. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV on a new character with my son, and having a ton of fun playing together. But you are still welcome to stop by and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. For lands, we're running Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Crumbling Necropolis, Drowned Catacomb, Dragon Skull Summit, Sulphur Falls, Underground River, Sulphurous Springs, Shivan Reef, Tainted Isle, Tainted Peak, Ferris Lake, Choked Estuary, Foreboding Ruins, Frostboil Snarl, Bajuka Bog, 6 Islands, 5 Swamps, and 6 Mountains. Almost all of our lands can come into play untapped, so not bad for a budget deck. Our mana ramp consists of Stormkiln Artist, Descent into Avernus, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Dominance, Talisman of Indulgence, Talisman of Creativity, Dimir Signet, Rakdos Signet, Izzet Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Mind Stone, Decanter of Endless Water, Dark Ritual, Seething Song, and Mana Geyser. Rituals are great in decks like this because not only do they lead to explosive turns, they can also be copied, making them even more powerful. For card advantage, we've got Wheel of Fortune, Windfall, Teferi's Ageless Insight, Sign in Blood, Night's Whisper, Pull from Tomorrow, Damnable Pact, and Archmage Emeritus. But we've also got a decent cantrip package in Opt, Brainstorm, Faithless Looting, Preordain, Thrill of Possibility, Consider, Serum Visions, Thought Scour, Chart a Course, and Demand Answers. Remember, for every 2 cantrips in a deck, you can cut a land, but I wouldn't recommend cutting more than 5 or 6 lands, otherwise your deck will never get off the ground. For interaction, we're running Commit Memory, Narset's Reversal, Malicious Affliction, Abrade, Lightning Bolt, Arcane Denial, Rakdos Charm, Counterspell, Negate, Chaos Warp, Feed the Swarm, Withering Torment, Wild Ricochet, Narset Parter of Veils, and Ashiok Dreamrender. Yes, we are being mean. What did you expect? But just because you have Narset and some wheels in your deck doesn't mean you have to Narset wheel. But you can if you feel the need. Our board wipes consist of Consuming Tide, Blasphemous Act, and Aetherize. I wanted to include more, but we ran out of budget. The only weakness this deck has is relentless creature attacks, so if budget isn't a concern, maybe think about adding Toxic Deluge and Damnation. The core of our deck consists of Expansion Explosion, Flare of Duplication, Finale of Promise, Galvanic Iteration, Twin Cast, Increasing Vengeance, Repeated Reverberation, Return the Favor, Reverberate, Thousand Year Storm, Swarm Intelligence, Professor Onyx, Ral Storm Conduit, Arcane Bombardment, and Insult Injury. Now that we have our deck list, we should compare it to our checklist. 49 mana sources split between 33 lands and 16 pieces of ramp. Right on target. 22 pieces of card advantage split between 11 pieces of traditional ramp, counting 3 of our planeswalkers, 10 cantrips, and our commander. Yes, Graveyard Recursion is a form of card advantage. 15 pieces of interaction. 3 board wipes, 3 pieces of Graveyard Hate in Ashiok Dream Render, Bojuka Bog, and Commit Memory, several Sudden Eye win cards. In fact, most of the deck is win cards. So we've got plenty of copy effects and create an infinite stack of copies. Now, when these resolve, we only get 3 copies in total, the original spell plus the 2 copies. But the stack can go infinitely large if we want. And since we have a bunch of Magecraft triggers, 1 to draw cards, 1 to make us treasure tokens, and 2 that hurt our opponents, copying spells means we either find our win cons or we win the game. Now, the non-budget version of this deck is full of tutors and salt-inducing cards like Jessica's Will and Underworld Breach. I don't have any of the free counterspells, but I should probably include them. I also don't run the Thoracle combo. I don't need it to win. My Kess deck is absolutely high-powered, but not CEDH. What's your strongest deck? How can you make it even stronger post-bannings? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Borgie, Nazwin, Midge, Alex, Conga, Aaron, Chris, Robert, Austin, William, Pye, Turner, Triz, Kazaris, Slack, Booksu, Patrick, Vox, Liam, Travis, Naffy, Sean, and Michael. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.